Ilia Topuria brutally knocks out Charles Oliveira. Now, in the history of the company, I've never seen something like Ilia Topuria. The precision, the power, the accuracy. The kid has the most power at 155 and lower in the history of the company. Now, even Conor McNuggets didn't have this level of power. I don't know what it is. Ilia Topuria is next level. Now, Charles Oliveira was having a little bit of success. Charles Oliveira had him against the cage in that clinch, and Joe Rogan, like it was on everybody's bingo card. Oh my God, Charles Oliveira looks huge compared to Ilia. He did look huge. The clinch work and the size was massive. Like in the clinch, Ilia was having a little bit of trouble moving early on. Charles was doing a good job. They went to the ground. He tried to take him down. Ilia reversed position, and they went to the ground. Ilia on top. Charles Oliveira grabs a leg. He rolls for a leg lock. We all know what Ilia Topuria does next. Ilia Topuria then proceeds to get out of the leg lock, which was tight for like half a second. He proceeds to stand up, and he does exactly what Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, all of them did. They did not want to go to the ground with Charles Oliveira. They all stood on top of him as Charles sits there on his back. Now, in that moment, I know Charles Oliveira had a little bit more confidence. He's like, all I have to do is get this little clown to the ground. Because if he didn't want to engage with him on the ground, that means he doesn't want to play jiu-jitsu with him. So he stands back up, and Ilia, being Ilia, baits him in, lets Charles get a long uppercut, baits him in, and gets the right hand. Now, the left hook doesn't even have to fucking land. The right hand knocks out Charles Oliveira like we've never seen before. Charles was out on his feet. Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, all of them, none of them could have done that. Ilia Topuria is fucking next level, man. Now, here is where things get a little weird. And Dana, even in the post-fight press conference, was a little bit mad at Joe Rogan. Ilia wins the fight. He gets his little moment to shine. He then says, there's a fucking bitch in the fucking crowd that I would knock out. And Joe Rogan says, people forget, man. He's talking about Paddy Pimblett. Get him in here, Paddy. Paddy, come in here. Dana White was fucking furious because I think he wants to give the title fight to I think Dana wants to give the title fight to Justin Gaethje, but Justin Gaethje was there. Arman Tsarukyan was there. Justin Gaethje saying, I'm going to retire if you guys don't give me a title shot. Just for the company and Joe Rogan to bring in one Paddy Pimblett. Now, Paddy comes in, they push each other. Here's what I'm going to say. That is the biggest fight in the history of London in Santiago Bernabeu. Obviously not the history of the company, but that is one of the biggest fights in the history of the company. Paddy versus Ilia, real animosity, real shit talking, and it's gonna be in Spain. Unlike fucking Sean O'Malley, hey Dana, get the jet ready. I'm going to Spain, baby. I want Ilia Topuria. Like Ilia would have fucking flatlined that kid. Now, Arman Tsarukyan is in the crowd. Now, this kid thinks just because he weighed in as the backup, he thinks he's next. Those days are fucking over. Mateusz Gamrot weighed in as the backup versus Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, and he didn't even get the fucking fight. So all that backup shit doesn't mean shit. They're probably going to give it to Justin Gaethje, who's retiring and threatening retirement, but he didn't even get the call. Paddy got the call. I think Paddy versus Ilia is going to be next, and that's the biggest fight they can make in the UFC right now. Animosity and all that. Now, as far as Ilia goes, he's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on earth. That knockout cemented him as #1 pound-for-pound. A guy like Islam Makhachev should be thanking God he ran away. That guy would have got brutally flatlined, and his little legacy of defending against old man Dustin and Renato Moicano, who just got fucked up by Dariush, that guy would have got the worst clapback in the history of the company. Ilia Topuria, the best fighter in the company today, even though he knocked out a fan favorite and one of my favorite fighters in Charles Oliveira. I got to give it to him. Ilia Topuria is a fucking monster. Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. I'll fucking knock him out, lad. I'm a scouser. We don't get knocked out. I'm a fucking scouser. I'll knock out the sausage, mate. That might have been a little too much, but you know what I mean. Ilia Topuria, Paddy Pimblett, Santiago Bernabeu. It is what it is. One of the best knockouts I've ever seen. And that is that.